Call me oblivious, but I'm not seeing much of an issue right now. What is up, Bird brothers and sisters, MFFLs alike? Lydian Zone in the building for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles, one video at a time, and dropping buckets for the Dallas Mavericks. If you like the diversity of fandom that I bring to the table, peep the Atlanta Braves cap, World Series champs, although I don't cover them. But yeah, like I said, you like the diversity of fandom I bring to the table. Love to have you a part of the End Zone fam. And, well, easiest way to achieve that is to hit the subscribe. That much closer to pushing 220. I hit quite a slump for the longest, and well, it feels good to rebound back and get some of those numbers going once again. And I have a lot of y'all to thank for that, and keeping the support up as I continue to build this channel and and hope for big things in the coming future. But let me get to this topic at hand quick. I don't know if I exactly see much of a joke in this situation, and of course it regarding the Kristaps Porzingis trade, in which we did send a pick in it, but we do end up getting two players in return, in Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans, who have already made their Mavericks debuts. And while some of their numbers did not look good in the box score on the surface, they do leave us some promise in terms of depth. And in speaking of that depth, and of course I've made a video on this, in a more initial reaction, a little more recent to when the trade first occurred, and going back and seeing how Spencer and Davis acclimated themselves into the Mavs system. I don't got a big problem with it, for one. Have they both had injuries before? Yeah. Are they to as a frequent or severe degree as Porzingis was? No. Do they cost as much as Porzingis, although their contracts aren't the greatest either? No. They are, in fact, easier to move in terms of giving Dallas some flexibility if they want to bring in, higher quality players. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And like I said in the beginning, call me oblivious if you want, and call me ignorant if you want. But I'm not seeing much of a problem here. Like I said, I mean, between Spencer and Davis, they just acclimated themselves to the Mavs, their system, if you will. And if I recall correctly, two things that have been talked about for this basketball team that, for me, if I can put a finger on it, two things that I have remembered for a while now is shot creation and three-point shooting. Do either of those two have those qualities? Yes, they do. It's two players. It's two players instead of one that each have that kind of talent. Spencer does have a three-point shot every now and then. That's what Davis Bertans is known for in terms of sharpshooting. He did go 3 of 7 in his first start for the Mavs. It's not bad. it's not bad, but as far as what I was able to tell, he was set up pretty good for some of those shots. And of course, it's going to take a little bit for him to heat up since he was battling a foot injury. And of course, Spencer had an ACL tear not too long ago. He's trying to come back from that. And while he got 23 minutes in his first, in his first game for Dallas, he left some to be desired, but there is potential there. Especially to the fact that when you divide these two between Porzingis, they're not going to play as many minutes, but what they do is that they increase the quality of depth to this basketball team, to which, in the previous game against the Clippers, you've seen the bench come out and score only 4 points. I mean, come on. Really, aside from them defensively not looking very good in that second game and giving up 99 points to a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, that wasn't the greatest thing to see, and and it sucks that Luka's late game heroics couldn't get them to sweep the Clippers in that regard. I mean, he had two hellacious back-to-back games where he was so destructive. But getting back to the point here and talking about this trade and it seeming so terribly head scratching, and yeah, on the surface it does when you compare when you do the contractual comparisons, but I'm seeing two players essentially here for the price of one. Two players that address two needs of the team that has been going on for the last couple of years. We've been looking for another shot creator that can work on the first and the second unit of this team, especially now this year with Tim Hardaway Jr. being out for foot surgery. You bring in Spencer Dinwiddie and you can get a little bit of contribution out of him in terms of that. And then, of course, the Mavs are always trying to add to, their three-point shooting, outside of Luka and Finney Smith and Maxi Kleber. That's just another guy, that Luka can play make with. Get Davis some good looks as he did against the Miami Heat, in which it was a pretty convincing victory, beating one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference. The Mavs have looked good as of late, so really, I'm not sure what there completely is here to complain about. Of course, how is it going to work throughout the rest of the season, especially after the All-Star break? That is yet to be seen, but as of right now, I don't I don't exactly have a problem with it, nor do I understand why it is a joke of a trade. Especially when you consider that you've tried this Porzingis experiment for the last 3 years or so. He's barely played half of the year, and all 3 times, and to which you have to imagine, with the amount of pull that Luka has and Luka has deserved in this franchise, that he was part of the reason why Porzingis was shipped out. And one of the assistant coaches, of course, Igor, one of the stronger connections to Luka, has already talked about the strength to which this gives Luka after the Porzingis trade, that there's a little more free-flowing, a little more of a free flow offensively, to which Luka's able to do, and you don't got somebody crowding the paint at times, even though KP in a lot of those instances seemed out of place in camping around the three-point line and whatnot. We don't have to see any of that anymore. We don't have to see him attempt to try to back down a smaller opponent and go with a fadeaway instead of just backing him closer to the basket, dunking on him, or going for a layup, since he's so darn tall. It's difficult to block his shot. There's just so much that goes into it that I'm trying to read between the lines, and I'm not seeing much. I'm really not seeing much. Just I'm more about giving I'm more about giving it a chance first. And you understand the fact that teams, a championship team is not built overnight. Luka just signed this extension, so I mean, yeah, some front office decisions have not been uh, great for Dallas as of recently, but with some of the new regime in place, you just you got to give it a chance to this point. You got to give it a chance. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But MFFLs, let me know what y'all think down in the comments, and what your expectations are on this going forward. If this really was as bad of a trade, as it seemed, uh, have your feelings for it tampered down just a little bit. Yeah, let me know down in the comments. But I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate y'all sticking around. This has been Lindy Fly Eagles Fly Bleed Green. Go Mavs, MFFLs, World Series champs, Atlanta Braves. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you next time.